Thank you, Internet. I'm Liv.
Fly niggas since
Thank you, Internet.
kindergarten liars. Shoot
Oh,
stupid
my
kids and
Liv.
retarded.
I get it.
I make the coke black when I'm in the market. I make the price come in the target. I'm like a holy prophet trying to make a profit. Rough rider, legendary prospect. I ain't where I'm yet. Shut up, my gunman friend, yo. 10-4-5s in my extender. 2 extra clips for the extra shit. And each whole 7, you getting blessed with it. Yeah, I got so much beef, my ex was stressed with it. Right, it was eye for an eye, Old Testament. Word, part of the walls, my heart dwells. Treating these waters like shark tails. Word, my homie guys was on bail. I had waived the shit, got tobacco with full bail. The rats used to see me on range and go tell. Catch him at court, stopping with Jordans like Montel. Swear to God, I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma skip the pico. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs. Look, the hottest kid in the kitchen, I've been nice. Thoughts of you double crossing me, think twice. Gold chains in my mouth, case full of ammunition. Cocaine on my nosebleed, that's a Kathy Griffin. Bullets light up the night sky and they blame me, boy. Magnums in the back of the whip, they call me baby boy. My ATL sending your section 80, boy. The fuck do you think the mafia pay me for? Young, rich, and handsome, bullets like an anthem. When they started singing, everybody put their hands up. Ain't nobody been doing the shit that I do. Dark blood, how many hoes can I fit inside you? Scratched up with lines around them like the kids of I know. Put up with the Mac and fry them like the shit's a drive-thru. Angels will find you, but I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma scrape the beakers. Yeah. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs, El Chapo. Every day I pay for new AKs, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AKs.
Black bandana, black and green bandana, 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 black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green. On that gang shit, on that we don't play shit. Let it spray shit, plus it ain't no case shit. Let it bang shit, let your colors hang shit. On that crazy shit, chopper stick and flame shit. Know you hate shit, know you met today, bitch. We done made it, off the block we skated. Massachusetts, made its way to New York State. Puzzle peace gang, we can take this whole country. One block at a time, bricks in halves, quarters down. Flip it one more time, stacking paper, godless crime. Facts like shit, you dealt with on the real quick. Extra clips, glass and filter to the tip. black bandana, black and green bandana, 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 black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green.
Tony Montana, he ain't got your shit on us. Now throw children in the car because we get no fuck. Throw up your flag, throw up your signs and represent. We with the crew, make KT guns slit your neck. We dangerous like Buster Bus in 97. We aiming bustin', you wanna stay with the heaven. I'm about to like to get the fact I'm fucking white. I got that heart that's soft to cook that fucking white. In my kitchen, serving fiends, feeding addiction. My money's straight, this life I leave you fucking bitchin'.
Man, you talk like a
I wear the
Latino.
flags of black and green like LA Crips. But we ain't done this puzzle piece gang here, bitch.
Black bandana, black and green bandana, 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 black bandana, black bandana, black and green, 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 black bandana, black and green bandana, black bandana, black and green bandana, black bandana,
Man,
black and green
McDonald's don't serve
bandana,
it, you shouldn't eat it. I don't think they serve bats. Even in China, McDonald's. I don't think so.
black and green, black bandana, black bandana, black and green,
You got
black
bat burgers?
bandana,
No?
black
Good.
bandana, black and green,
Precisely
black
what I don't
bandana,
want.
black bandana, black and green.
I hope the bastard that ate that bat got the worst diarrhea, and I hope he still has diarrhea. Bastard, you ate a bat, you didn't fucking cook it.
Black bandana, black and green bandana, black bandana, black and green bandana.
Hello. This call is from the Tax Department of Canada Revenue Agency. The reason behind this call is that
The
there
tax
is a case,
department
a
of
lawsuit
Canada
that is getting
Revenue
filed under your name.
Tax
The moment you
Department.
receive this message, I need you to get back to me on my department division number. That is
They know we're fucking retarded.
647-945-9549.
Everything's 3 letters. CRA,
I repeat, 647-945-9549. Now, if I don't hear a call from you, we will have to issue an arrest warrant under your name and get you
Wouldn't that cost
arrested.
you more
So
money,
get back to
Brendan?
me as soon as
You're
possible.
spending all
Thank
sorts
you.
of money trying to get this money. I guess I should stop paying my phone bill and shit, guys, if I'm going to jail. But that doesn't matter, so let's just fuck everybody.
Yeah, the heartfelt shit.
I'll just prepay all my drug dealers and tell them, give it to me in 6 months. And then look at me
These
funny.
days I'm on that one, don't fuck with them, yo. I'ma make it there eventually. It's these cruel intentions, not to mention got me clenching. My chest hurt from the stress. These days I'm venting. Poetry healing these wounds that I once contained. Serenity felt fed off these raps that I bring. These words help me escape. I say fuck it there. My feet going rock climbing. All these niggas saying they rocked up, but none of them ain't got diamonds. Why they not riding? Only thing I'm ducking is a cop siren. I'm out driving, going cops and islands. And I'm flying high my fire hydrant. I'm not lying, so stop trying. Why the fuck is you lying? Man, look like you back at it again. But them white hands look like the why I still ride. They jump man. Lord have mercy, all these niggas sound like ragamuffins. Man, daddy, man, I'm jumping. I get a shock attack like one-on-one with Duncan. A crossover layer, maybe I might just go with Duncan. Bodies on top of bodies, I had a coffins bunking. I pulling up in no foreign. American muscle that foot. Let's take it back to that raw. Yeah, can't match with that store. Yeah, the pink fun under the number 4. When the number short, that's 100 more. I got 100 calls on the teleport for the rugged raw with a lines pop. Lines cut for my Iron King. I got an iron boy with a press niggas. I am a god. You niggas soft like what? You niggas want trying to fall for now. My niggas are bricks barnacles like dinosaurs playing Diana Ross. To get my binder cross like an arrow does. Beware of us. New Toronto, we're old Toronto. Same shit. Nah, just keep 6 for 6 up whenever Drake snitch. New Toronto, we're old Toronto. Same shit. Nah, just keep 6 for 6 up whenever Drake snitches.
Yeah, I'll eventually either add songs to this playlist or take some of them off. I know.
Welcome to the Cousin
I'll
C
have to
Show.
draw on what I know won't get
Now
me.
sit your ass the fuck down and shut the fuck up. Hit the gas mask, the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Lucky wow, it's everlasting.
Doses, I brag the mostest, cause I spit it hotter than toasters. Check my name out on all the posters. When I hit the stage, drinks hit the coasters. Women packed all the way to the third row. We ain't in the strip club, we call it Perv Row. I don't know what you heard, ho. I'ma tell you straight, baby, I'm a surf pro. Running game like a pimp, bitch. Yeah, I'm running game with a limp, bitch. The big dog gonna teach you some tricks, bitch. Get out there, catch a date and stack my chips, bitch.
Hit the gas mask, hit the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Must be why our music's everlasting.
The future, track bruisers. Caught the beat in the back of the cruiser. Fuck the game up.
Wow, by this time next year, bandanas will be standard issue for police and fucking
Growl on the
military.
mic like
Just
a
in case they
bitch.
can't get their hands on a
Go
real
hard on the
knife.
beat to Clint Eastwood. Walk on water, everybody knew he would. Written in the scriptures, fellas knew he could. On my own, Julius Caesar. Take away my world, I only need her. What you coming? Only wanna be heard. The phoenix shall rise upon my return. Get the gas mask when we spark that.
How much was it?
I think we parked
The
that.
gas mask, the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Must be why our music's everlasting. Get the gas mask, the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Must be why our music's
I
everlasting.
go Coco, so loco. Whoop, whoop, no popo. Yeah, don't know. I'm so pro. Go so slow in a low. Twisting like Toto. Oh no. Throwing game like Tony Romo. Even the G's love me, no homo. With the crew, that's a no-no. I'm hydro when I flow. When I flow, it's tidal. Surf the beat, watch my roll. Grab the mic, hit hard like Tybo.
Gas mask, the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Must be why our music's everlasting. The gas mask, the gas mask. Funky rappers, where your ass at? You went last week, enjoy the past week. Must be why our music's everlasting.
Yeah. It's a life that I live, man. It's the life that I live, man. F-O-T-G. Yeah. I speak what I fucking want, I say what I fucking want, you know? Yo, my blood type is straight, kill a nigga running his house. Kidnap a faggot ass nigga who be running his mouth. It's the 7th letter, LOC, and the 11th letter. My twin is on, we stay in your lane if you know it's better. Can't change cause I'm stuck on some hot shit. Sharp fly past in your car, we shoot the glass of the cockpit and run up on you, see you wall, and leave you stretched out on the concrete like you hugging the floor. I'm a thug nigga, hair still nappy, hands still baggy, and keep it sharp in case niggas try to get at me. Fuck I look like, shooting fair ones and fist fighting. I smoke too many cigarettes, nigga, I'd rather light them, cause I ain't got the lungs for that sweaty shit. How I'm gonna slap down your bitch on some petty shit. Real talk, ain't with the back and forth shit, I let my steel talk. Fully loaded whip, battleship like it's Bismarck. Lock you done did it again, fuck a one shot, you know me, I'd rather hit you and your friends, but at the top, you gotta get it 2 times more, now I'll rep the 6, this ain't 2 + 4, and I'm all about the war, cause the revenge be so sweet, on the streets with the street sweep against you so sweet, one to your skull, motherfucker, make your dome leak, 30 on their hip, through the sweater, see the pole peak, cops on your body in the bushes cause you're cold street. You niggas already know who I am. Feeling like Deuce, man, how I don't got plans. We the type to just hop at the van. Got enough in the clip to hit you and your mans. Yeah.
I knew Canadians knew how to line up. You know that? You teach you in school and you remember. And sometimes there's too many people at the bus stop or the elevator. It comes back to you. Lining up is easy. I don't know why the rest of the world can't do it. No, you can't come in and sit down. You gotta line up outside, 6 feet apart. There's just another step to it for us. That's nothing. 6 feet, okay. What's that? 2 big steps? Oh look, there's duct tape on the floor. There's sidewalk chalk and duct tape. There's X's and circles and smiley faces everywhere.
8%, $18.59. Air Canada says it hopes to. $23,381. S&P 500's up 3%, and the NASDAQ is gaining 181 points or 2.3%. The buyers are out in New York on signs that infections and deaths may soon be peaking or plateauing. Dr. Fauci, the top U.S. infectious disease expert, said today that the White House is working on plans to eventually reopen the United States amid what he called glimmers of hope. Of course, President Trump said he hoped to reopen the state sooner rather than later. Also helping the move to some degree on Wall Street is the fact that Bernie Sanders dropped out of the U.S. presidential race today, the Democratic presidential race, and this for Joe Biden to be the presumptive nominee for the Democrats. And Joe Biden is seen as being more market-friendly than Bernie Sanders. Stocks on the move in New York include Caterpillar, the world's largest maker of construction equipment, and stocks up 3.5%. Caterpillar says it's going to maintain its current quarterly dividend of $1.03. General Motors is up 9.5%. It's been contracted to make 30,000 ventilators by the U.S. government, something that will net General Motors $489 million. Nordstrom, the retailer, up 5.8%. It's temporarily closed all its physical stores and has temporarily laid off most of its workers. Canadian dollar right now lower 71.21 cents. U.S. top stories next. This is 680 News.
In times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
Hey guys, it's never a good look when you untuck a long bulky dress shirt. It just looks sloppy. That's why Untuckit makes shirts specifically designed to be worn untucked. And not only do they look good, they feel great too. Untuckit offers 50 fit combinations, so tall, short, slim, and bigger guys can experience the perfect fitting shirt. While our stores are temporarily closed, please go to untuckit.ca where you can browse and purchase from our extensive new spring line. Use promo code Canada for 20% off your entire first purchase.
How do you spell it, bro? That was the beep. That was the military computer beep.
Downtown Toronto, sunny and 12 degrees. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 3 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Slijana Timinsis.
Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, April the 8th.
Here's what's making news this hour. 550 new confirmed COVID-19 cases in Ontario today, the biggest one-day jump, but testing is down, and Premier Doug Ford says that is unacceptable.
8,000 people in Ontario signed up in a single day to help in the fight against the coronavirus. 1,000 of them have already been matched up with a healthcare job.
Staying home during the pandemic means millions of people across the world will be celebrating Passover, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday in a very different way.
Tom Brady opens up in a 2-hour interview with Howard Stern, and another league has canceled their regular season. Sports at 15.
The number of air travelers have fallen to levels not seen since the dawn of the jet age in the early 60s. We're looking at how it's going to change the industry. Stocks and oil are flying higher. Business at 26.
680 News Time 301. This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Eastbound on the 401, it is still jammed solid from James Snow Parkway to Trafalgar. Just as you're approaching Trafalgar, the right lane remains closed, and crews are doing some repairs to the concrete barrier. It was damaged in a crash that happened around 11 o'clock this morning. So the eastbound 401, again, jammed from James Snow Parkway to Trafalgar. You can use eastbound Steeles as an alternate route. Eastbound 401, the construction east of Kipling and the Express, that's wrapped up, so all lanes getting through again. Still some construction, though, on the eastbound 401 through Brimley and the Express. The left lane is closed, but not spotting any delay there. Westbound on the 401, just a couple of construction issues. Westbound 401, west of Yonge and the Collectors, the right lane is blocked off. The southbound Dufferin ramp to the westbound 401, that remains closed for some road work. Traffic is pretty light, though, on the westbound 401 as you make your way across the city, not spotting any significant slowdowns. Construction on the 404 in both directions through Stouffville Road. Crews are working in the right lane. And we still have construction on the westbound QEW at the 427. The left lane is closed, and west of Winston Churchill, the left lane closed there. 407 ETR thanks you for continuing to follow social distancing rules. Together we can beat the COVID-19 virus. 407etr.com. And now with the forecast, Natasha, I hope you brought out your patio cushions for the afternoon today.
Brought them out and going to bring them back in again tonight. So it's kind of back and forth. I know. We do have that rain now. It should start right around midnight, just after midnight tonight. So we still have the whole afternoon. We can sit outside. Increasing cloud this evening. And again, that rain overnight tonight, another 5 to 10 millimeters into tomorrow morning as we wake up to 4 degrees. Now, we will clear out through the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud, but I think the wind takes over as the weather story tomorrow. Out of the west-northwest, gusts up to 60 to 80 kilometers per hour from Thursday right into Friday. Tomorrow's high cooler at 8. Tonight, we're down to a low of 4 degrees. It is currently 13 degrees at Pearson.
680 News Time 303.
The latest on the spread of COVID today marks another daily high for confirmed cases in Ontario with more than 500, but now the focus has shifted to testing. The Premier says it is not nearly sufficient.
Here's 680's Irene Preclett. The 550 new cases reported today, the largest single-day increase so far, brings the total in the province to 5,276. But testing numbers are down. The province had said it can handle 13,000 tests per day, but only about 3,200 tests were evaluated in this latest update.
Good, don't overwork them because they'll start fucking shit up.
No more excuses. It's unacceptable. We have the capacity now. Before, I understand, we didn't have the reagent. We didn't have all the testing. We have the testing capabilities. We have the assessment centers capabilities. We have the reagent.
The chief of family medicine at Toronto's University Health Network among those expressing frustration over the lack of testing, saying you can't make decisions upon what you don't know. I'm Irene Preclett.
This is 680 News. The Premier says the response to his call for healthcare workers to re-enter the system has had an incredible response. Doug Ford says more than 8,000 have signed up. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live with that. Mark.
And James, it was only yesterday when Premier Doug Ford put out the call for anyone in Ontario with medical training to sign up to help fight the coronavirus. Here's what he had to say yesterday.
This new online portal will help match skilled frontline workers with their healthcare employers.
And it seems to be working like gangbusters. The Premier says in just a single day, nearly 8,000 people put their names in that ring. 1,000 of them have already been matched up with a job in healthcare.
We're going to deploy those workers as soon as possible, filling vacancies in the healthcare system all across Ontario.
Ford did not elaborate today on what kind of work any foreign-trained doctors or medical professionals might get in Ontario using this portal. Ford also announcing today that construction on all new hospitals, assessment centers, and temporary structures being built for COVID-19 purposes, those will be switching to 24-hour-per-day construction just to get the work done that much quicker. Any local bylaw about noise is being overruled by the province for that. And Ford is also asking all retired inspectors to step forward now and make sure everything from healthcare sites to grocery stores are as safe and clean as possible. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas.
This is 680 News. Passover begins tonight, and we're heading into an Easter weekend like we've never seen in our lifetimes. 680's Norman Cressy joins us with how preparations are getting underway.
Passover is normally a time for Jewish families to celebrate together, but Steve McDonald with the United Jewish Appeal Federation of Toronto tells me because of the pandemic, things have to be different this year for the betterment of everyone.
So what we're seeing is that overwhelmingly people are simply staying home. They are holding these dinners, but they're doing it solely with members of their own household. This is absolutely essential if we want to flatten the curve, if we want to protect life.
Good Friday and Easter Sunday are this weekend. Thomas Collins is the Archbishop of Toronto. He tells me even though churches will be empty, technology will allow people to still take part in Mass.
But the Mass goes on. Every parish is celebrating the whole of Holy Week. So in our case, just a few people, myself and a few priests. It's all being live streamed, so maybe in that way you can help people take part in some way.
You can find that live stream on the Archdiocese of Toronto's website.
This should be fun.
This is 680 News. The city of Mississauga looking at a $60 million deficit because of the health crisis. The mayor, Bonnie Crombie, said during a virtual meeting today, council approved a new round of restrictions.
We made the unfortunate decision to cancel all city-led events and third-party events at city facilities until July 3rd, including Canada Day. Even when life returns to normal, we will not be encouraging large gatherings like the 20,000 people plus we see on Canada Day.
Bonnie Crombie says the city's also closing Korea Park during cherry blossom season. And the Prime Minister announcing the federal government's relaxing rules around the $73 billion wage subsidy program. It's expanding supports to help young people.
In order to help more businesses and workers qualify for assistance through this pandemic, the federal government is loosening the criteria to qualify for wage subsidies. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says companies now only need to see a 15% decline in business in March instead of 30%, and they can compare their revenues to previous months rather than the previous year.
If our economy is to get through this, we need businesses to survive and workers to get paid.
For those that abuse the program, there will be stiff penalties. If a company tries to take advantage of the offer in a time of crisis, they could face fines of up to 225% of the money they received, and those responsible could go to prison for 5 years. The government also pushing for Parliament to return as quickly as possible to pass these changes to the subsidy, but Conservative MP Pierre Poilievre says any sitting of the House of Commons should come with a full question period.
They're spending $200 billion for which they should be accountable.
The feds are also boosting the summer jobs program, giving 100% subsidies for employers that hire students. And the Prime Minister says more help will be announced soon for people who are still working but seeing their hours significantly reduced. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
The British Prime Minister is still in hospital being treated for COVID-19, but his condition appears to be improving.
Boris Johnson is reportedly responding to treatment as he remains in a stable condition in the intensive care unit at St. Thomas's Hospital here in London. The word comes from a 10 Downing Street spokesman. As to a few specifics, Johnson is taking a break from working and is receiving just the standard oxygen treatment and breathing without any other assistance. Tom Rivers, ABC News, London.
This shit fucks up the inside of your lungs.
Breaking news from your new world. We're in this together. 680 News.
Will you always
Your home
be
is
there?
more than just a place to live. It's your window of opportunity. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, your home can provide valuable equity that will give you the freedom to complete those renovations, support your business, or simply get your debt in line. An easy call to 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL will open the doors to all the good things you thought were beyond your reach as a homeowner. So pick up the phone and call 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL today. CapitalDirect.ca.
City streets crews are cleaning up a collision of Finch west of the 400 at Signet, and downtown John is closed north of Queen because of a broken water main.
Well, if you see me throwing garbage, acting like an idiot, I'm the guy cleaning it all
midnight to about 77.9. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
This is 680 News.
Hi, I'm Anthony Longo. Our family has been proud to serve Ontarians for over 60 years. And like your family, we're doing our best to stay positive during these challenging times. I'd like to thank all our team members for their continued commitment to serving our community. And I'm grateful to our loyal guests for being patient with us and with each other while we do our best to keep our shelves stocked, our stores clean, and our community safe.
Why weren't you
Even
doing
though
that
we're all
before,
trying to
buddy?
keep our distance,
I
hope this experience will bring us all closer together. Thank you.
A message from Canadian Blood Services. Reason number 2 to join Canada's Lifeline. Donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days. That's why we need donors every day. There are lots of reasons to donate blood. Book now at blood.ca.
Tomorrow, next week, and next month, the Made for Blood is constant. Check your eligibility to donate and book now at blood.ca. Canadian Blood Services. Together, we are
I
Canada's
thought about it a
lifeline.
long time. Turns out to be true. Turns out to be basically true.
Traffic weather together, KP.
Let's bug you every fucking day of the week. I don't say nothing about Friday.
MyMuskokaCottages.com. Eastbound on the 401, we still have this problem. It's approaching Trafalgar, the right lane closed. Crews are repairing the barrier. It was damaged in a crash earlier today.
by tomorrow,
so
you
eastbound
won't know
on the
there was a
401 is
crash.
packed
You won't know
from
there was a
Jamestown
crash.
Parkway
No
all the way
crash.
to
No
Trafalgar.
crash.
Use
That's
eastbound
gone. You
Steels as
clean
an
up.
alternate.
You
That's
mess
moving
me
along
clean up.
very well. Eastbound on the
Mess
401, the
gone.
construction
Gone.
through
On
Gibson
track,
and the
gone.
Express,
Burned,
that's wrapped
buried,
up.
gone.
Well, everybody's out of the way now. But watch out for these crews on the eastbound 401 at Brimley and the Express. They're still working in the left lane there. Westbound on the 401, west of Young and the Collectors, the right lane is shut down. That's all for road work. And keep in mind, the southbound Dufferin ramp to the westbound 401, that's shut down. It's because of construction. Good news is no delays on the westbound 401 as you make your way across the city. More lane restrictions for construction on the 404 in both directions through Stouffville Road. The right lane is closed, and we have 2 construction spots on the westbound QEW. At the 427, the left lane is closed. Then westbound QEW west of Winston Churchill, the left lane closed there. No delays, though, on the QEW. Both directions are in great shape. The Gardner looks good both into and out of the city. $60 million worth of luxury cottages await your arrival. Muskoka realtor Bob Clark is excited to showcase these fabulous lakefront properties. Visit mymuskokacottages.com. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsa. Hi.
All right, temperatures not bad now. It's 14 degrees outside, and we are down to a low of 4 degrees tonight. Now, after midnight, we'll get into about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain, so bring in the patio cushions again. Rain lingers into early tomorrow morning, but by the afternoon, it's dry, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 8 degrees. We got to talk about the wind. All day Thursday and all day Friday, we're going to see these west and northwest gusts between 60 and 80 kilometers per hour. That same wind driving in lake effect flurries Thursday night into Friday morning. Trace to 2 centimeters possible once you get north of Highway 7. Could see light dusting right around Steeles and Finch, and probably no accumulation downtown. A lot of this will be melting on impact, but still flurries on Friday with a high of 6. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low 4 degrees. It is now 14 degrees at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute, Richard Southern.
Hey, James, stocks are moving higher today. Investors in a buying mood on signs of perhaps a light at the end of the COVID tunnel in the United States. Bernie Sanders dropping out of the race in the United States, also seen as a positive. Investors think Joe Biden is more market friendly. Then we have the price for oil. It shot up 6.5% late day. Right now we got the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 729 points, 3.25%, above 23,300. S&P 500's up 3%, and the Nasdaq's up 190 points. TSX up 339 points, or 2.5%, getting just a few points away here from 14,000. Canadian dollar at 71.25 cents US. That's your market minute. This is 680 News.
Research shows that investors who work with a financial advisor accumulate 3.9 times more assets than those who don't. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
For 200 years we were slaves, until God himself took us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. This week, the 8-day festival of Passover begins. It marks the liberation of the Jewish nation from Egyptian bondage. In celebration of our miraculous freedom, the first 2 nights are observed with ritually laden family feasts. Most important, the mitzvah of eating matzah and taking part in relating the biblical narrative of our Exodus. As always, Chabad Lubavitch, along with our 3,000 affiliate branches around the world, are here to help with all your holiday needs. Whether you you wish to sell your chametz, obtain round hand-baked shmura matzah. Call or visit us at www.chabad.ca. Steele's Memorial Chapel wishes you a joyous and meaningful Pesach.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Sunny skies in downtown Toronto, up to 14 degrees now at Pearson. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Jana Timmins, and here are the top stories right now.
The latest on the war on COVID. A new daily corona cases in Ontario with more than 500. For Premier Ford shifting the focus to testing. Ontario's capacity, 13,000 tests per day, but only about 3,500 are being done. The Premier says that is unacceptable. He wants to see every long-term care resident, every frontline healthcare worker, and every first responder tested. And on the roads, eastbound 401 approaching Trafalgar, right lane remains closed for repairs to the barrier. Should clear by the bottom of the hour.
Time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 with Sanders, Alex Xero.
And it looks like Brian Colangelo is trying to get back in the game. The former Raptors executive is reportedly interviewed with the Chicago Bulls for their top basketball operations position. Colangelo's been out of work for nearly 2 years after burner accounts on Twitter forced him to resign from his job in Philly back in 2018. Well, Tom Brady says he never cared about his legacy and that he had a feeling 2019 would be his final season with the Patriots. Brady, in a 2-hour chat with Howard Stern this morning, said he holds no grudges against Bill Belichick and that he was in tears when telling Pats owner Robert Kraft that he was leaving for Tampa Bay. Off to baseball and Blue Jays Rewind tonight on Sportsnet 590. The Fan and Sportsnet is going to be Game 3 of the 1993 World Series. Jays and Phillies were tied at 1 with the series shifting over to Philadelphia. Both broadcasts will fire up at 7 o'clock. And COVID-19 has forced the National Lacrosse League to cancel the remainder of their regular season. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
Ontario's doctors are working with government to provide the best possible advice about coronavirus. Take these 5 easy steps to protect yourself. 1. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. 2. Cough or sneeze into your sleeve. 3. Avoid touching your face. 4. Stay home when you're ill. And 5. Disinfect heavily touched surfaces. For more information, visit virusfacts.ca or ontario.ca/coronavirus. This message is brought to you by the Ontario Medical Association.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you want. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck. We're open for business. 2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
This is 680 News. There's some promising signs that physical distancing measures in New York are working, but this comes as the state reports more than 10,000 new cases. The governor says they remain the epicenter of the pandemic. People should not stop following the guidelines. Andrew Cuomo says the hospitalization rate is slowing. Could mean that field hospitals built in New York City and on board the military hospital ship Comfort won't be at capacity.
If the hospitalization rate will minimize the need for overflow on the system that we have built in at Javits and at the USNS Comfort.
New York also seeing another record-setting day of deaths.
3 of the last 7.5 fucking assholes to figure out how an elevator works.
40 theaters in Manhattan have been closed since March 12th.
Word came from the Broadway League, which said the priority remains the health of audiences, actors, ushers, stagehands, and others associated with the theater. Ticket holders are supposed to receive an email in the next few days about exchanges and refunds.
Theaters originally hoped to reopen by next week. 2 days after saying grocery stores should stay open through the Easter long weekend, including Good Friday, the Premier is doing a little backtracking.
Why don't they? Working in our grocery stores and pharmacies, our truck drivers, and those working the line. They've been working day and night for weeks to keep the food and medicine we need on the shelves. And one way we're saying thank you is making sure they have this Friday and Sunday off. They deserve a break.
On Monday, Ford had said he'd be personally calling the CEOs of the big 6 chains to ask them to stay open. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds. This is 680 News.
Stop the spread.
COVID-19 can be deadly. Everyone must do their part to stop the spread of COVID-19.